Thank you, Chairman Womack. Ranking Member DeLauro. Love to hear your question.
Well, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Just a couple of points about the recent conversation here. Throughout the appropriation process, House Republicans have sought to destroy the funding for the IRS. It's been more than $21.6 billion in cuts to IRS funding over the past year. We've heard about the tax gap, $687 billion. You have been able to collect $520 million in back taxes, estimated 1,000 millionaires, billionaires, which is collecting revenue. I just wanted to repeat for the record, collecting revenue legally owed. Now, and again, with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, they frame our debt as a problem of investments in the American people. We have a revenue problem, which I think that we have demonstrated here this morning, and there is a refusal to let the IRS collect legally owed taxes from billionaires, corporate of folks, in order to address the problem. So it's just very, very quickly. We're going into a new budget year. If more funding is cut from your budget, what would that mean?
Well, what it'll mean,
What are the consequences?
the consequences is we will not be able to meet the demand that taxpayers present. People will call the IRS and not get through. That'll happen to more people. People will show up at our walk-in centers. They'll find long lines and not be able to get in. And we will be limited in our ability to hold people accountable that aren't playing by the rules. And this is why this is so important. If you are a CFO of a large company and you're playing by the rules, you want an IRS that, first of all, leaves you alone, doesn't select you for audit because we've invested and now have the precision to see where the evasion is more likely. And once we pull the return of where we think the evasion is more likely, the CFO that's doing the right thing wants to make sure we're holding the CFO that's not playing by the rules accountable. All of that degrades if we don't meet the resources that we need.
Yeah, and those consequences need to be telegraphed loud and clear, and about who, from whom are we trying to get the owed taxes from. 55 corporations, 0 in federal taxes, another 39 who pay only a portion of their taxes. Let me move to the child tax credit. What an amazing success. And I put you at the IRS at the center of making this program an enormous success. You distributed nearly $93 billion in monthly child tax credit payments to families. And as I mentioned earlier, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration found the IRS accurately sent 98% of monthly child tax credit payments. No fraud, waste, abuse, people not going to work, people buying drugs with a child tax credit, all of that naysaying dissipated with the success that you and the staff have had in making that possible. I also might add at this juncture that distributed nearly $93 billion. I have folks who tell me, my God, we really can't afford a child tax credit that lift, almost half the kids in this country out of poverty, lowered the hunger rate. We can't afford it. But by God, we certainly can afford a $687 billion tax gap. We could deal with the child tax credit over and over again. Should the monthly child tax credit be reinstated, how quickly would the IRS be able to restart the program, and how can the Congress assist in this effort? And can you just briefly discuss the lessons learned from the child tax credit implementation, how it's impacted other IRS programs?
Yeah, Congressman, first of all, I really appreciate you expressing your appreciation. The IRS workforce often does rise to the challenge, and in particular during COVID, really did a lot of heroic efforts to send out lifeline economic payments to so many hundreds of millions of Americans, and credit to my predecessor and others who led the IRS through that period. What's also important, and what a huge lesson learned is that we are starting to make advances in updating our core technology. And I've heard for a long time that a lot of money has been spent, but has the IRS technology improved? I can report that it is starting to show meaningful improvement. And it's for that reason that if a child tax credit new program was enacted, we could re-engineer and begin within weeks, not months. And that is because A, we've done it before, and so now we have the playbook, but B, we've made not all the advances we need. We have a long way to go on technology, but changes have started to happen, and we are starting to see those technological changes generate efficiency, like weeks, not months, to move forward on a new child tax credit program.
Well, get ready because we are going to reinstate the child tax credit. Thank you. I yield back.